Hey, did you know that a single penny could be worth more than your car, your couch, or even your rent for the month? Yeah, you heard that right. We're talking about the 2003 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and believe it or not, it's valued at a whopping $1.1 million today. Sounds like a joke, doesn't it? But I promise, this penny isn't laughing its way to the bank, alright? Let's break this down. I know you're probably thinking, how in the world could a coin that's worth 1 cent be worth $1 million? Well, this is exactly what we're diving into today. But before I give you all the details, let me share a quick story. I remember when I first started collecting coins, I found this old penny in my couch cushions. Yeah, I know, classic move, right? My first thought was, hey, it's just a penny. What could it hurt to keep it in my collection? Fast forward a few years, and I'm scrolling through some forums and boom, I see someone mention a rare penny from 2003 that's worth, like, over $1 million. Naturally, I do what any sane person would do. I frantically search through my penny stash, hoping to find the holy grail of coins hidden in my couch. Spoiler alert, I didn't find it. But I did learn a ton about these elusive $1 million coins. And the 2003 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is definitely one of those coins you won't want to miss. Now, let's talk about this rare penny and why it's so valuable. The 2003 no-mint Mark penny is exactly what it sounds like. It's a penny minted in 2003, but it doesn't have the mint mark you usually find on coins. Usually, the mint mark is located on the front of the coin, right under the date, telling you where it was made, like D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. But this 2003 penny? No mint mark at all. A mistake? A fluke? Nope, it's a legitimate rarity, and it's worth big bucks. Well, here's the deal. Back in 2003, there was a minor glitch in the production process at the US Mint. Some pennies were struck without the mint mark, and because they were such an anomaly, they became super rare and valuable. Now, you might be thinking, that's great, but how do I know if I've got one of these bad boys? Well, here's how you can tell. First off, it should be a 2003 penny with absolutely no mint mark. Not a little d, not an s, just plain blank. If you've got a 2003 penny with any mint mark on it, then unfortunately, you've just got a regular penny. But if yours is mint mark free, you've got a real gem, and that gem could be worth a cool $1.1 million if it's in pristine condition. Keep in mind, that value is based on the rarity and condition. If your penny looks like it's been through a couple of decades of use, scratched up, corroded, and not exactly sparkling, it's probably not hitting the $1 million mark. But if it's in mint condition? Oh, now you're talking. Now, let's get into how this penny even made it to the big leagues. It all comes down to the rarity factor. We've all heard the saying finders keepers, right? Well, the few people who have found a 2003 no-mint mark penny are the lucky ones. There are very few of them, and the ones that have survived are in top-notch condition. That's what drives up the price to insane numbers like $1.1 million. The fewer there are, the higher the demand, and the higher the price. Now, before you start tearing apart your piggy bank and checking all your pennies, let's talk about what makes this penny so desirable to collectors. Coin collectors, or numismatists, fancy term, right, are always on the lookout for rare, historical, or flawed coins. And the 2003 no-mint mark penny checks all the boxes. It's a one-of-a-kind mistake, and mistakes in the coin world are often the most valuable because they're so hard to come by. Imagine being the person who finds one of these rare pennies in their change. You'd be sitting on a small fortune. So, now that you know why the 2003 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is worth a jaw-dropping $1.1 million, let's wrap things up with a little recap. Of the 2003 no-mint Mark penny is a rare, valuable coin because of a production mistake that left it without the mint mark. These pennies are so rare that they become worth millions in perfect condition. The trick is finding one, and if you do, you might just have your hands on the coin equivalent of a winning lottery ticket. And now, I know, you're probably digging through your pockets and looking under your couch cushions as we speak. But hey, don't get discouraged if you don't find it right away. Rare coins like this are hard to come by, but who knows? Maybe you'll get lucky and find one yourself. And if you do, let me know because I might want to borrow a couple of bucks. Before I sign off, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more tips on rare coins that could be sitting in your pocket right now. I've got tons of content on coins worth money, strategies for building your collection, and more. So don't miss out, join me on this coin hunt, and remember, folks, the real treasure isn't just in rare coins. It's in the fun of the hunt and the stories we get to share along the way. Keep collecting, keep hunting, and keep finding those $1,000,000 pennies. Catch you in the next one. If you liked this video, don't forget to like, comment, and of course, hit that subscribe button. You'll be the first to know when I drop more coin hunting secrets that could make you rich. Hey, what's up, coin enthusiasts? So, you thought you knew all about those classic pennies, right? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into a little gem you probably wouldn't expect to be worth serious money. I'm talking about the 1987 D Lincoln penny. Yes, that's right, the one you might have tossed into a jar or buried deep in your couch cushions. But guess what? That penny could be worth, get ready for this, $1.20 million. Yeah, I know, you're probably thinking, hold up. A 1987 penny? Are you serious? That's not even old enough to be considered vintage. Well, sit tight, because I'm about to show you why this one is not your average penny. Trust me, you'll want to check your change drawer after this. The 1987 D Lincoln penny is one of those rare coins that's just popped off the charts. I mean, who knew that a coin that's only, like 38 years old, could skyrocket in value like this? Well, that's because, while most 1987 D pennies are still floating around in circulation, a select few have something that makes them special. They're mistakes, and mistakes are worth a lot of money in the world of coin collecting. I mean, I know you're probably sitting there thinking, okay, but how does a coin go from being worth a couple of cents to a cool million? So here's the deal, in the world of numismatics, that's the fancy term for coin collecting. By the way, the rarer and more unique the coin, the higher its value. And, for this penny, it's all about the minting errors. Some of these 1987 D coins were struck in a way that's so rare, it made them collectors' dream come true. You see, the minting process for pennies back in 1987 wasn't perfect. I know, shocker, right? But when you've got millions of coins being made, there's always a chance some slip through the cracks. Some 1987 D pennies have what's called a double die error, which means the image of Lincoln's face and other parts of the coin appear double printed. It's subtle, but it's noticeable if you know what you're looking for. And guess what? This error makes the coin incredibly rare and highly valuable. And, what are the chances I've got one just lying around? Well, let me tell you a quick story from my own coin hunting days, because yes, even I've gone down the rabbit hole of coin searching. A few years ago, I was digging through a box of old coins my grandmother gave me. I'm talking ancient coins, things I couldn't even pronounce. And, just like any collector does, I started flipping through them, looking for hidden treasures. You know what I found? A 1972 penny. I know, not exactly a $1 million coin, but the excitement was real. I swear I almost had a mini heart attack thinking I had discovered something major. Turns out it was just a regular old penny, but, man, the hope was real for a second there. But here's the thing, this is the moment you're hoping for when you're going through your coins. You get that one little gem in your hands, and it could make all the difference. Now, don't go running to your change jar just yet, thinking you found a $1.2 million coin. But here's a pro tip, always look for those mint marks, errors, and unusual signs. A double die on a 1987 D penny can send you straight to the Collector's Hall of Fame. So, how can you identify one of these $1 million 1987 D pennies? Well, it's all about the details. Take a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe and carefully examine the date, the mint mark, and Lincoln's face. If you see a slight doubling, especially around the letters and the date, then you might be holding on to a true treasure. I mean, if you find one, you're not just looking at a penny anymore, you're looking at your ticket to a pretty solid payday. But hey, before you start pawing through every penny in your pocket, remember, this doesn't happen every day. Not every 1987 D penny is going to be worth a small fortune. You've got to be looking for the right signs, errors that happen during the minting process. It's kind of like treasure hunting, but for grown-ups, alright. So now that you're in the know about the 1987 D Lincoln penny and why it could be worth up to $1.2 million, it's time to go out there and see what you've got lying around. Check your coins, search through your spare change, and if you find something, don't just toss it back. You could be holding onto a real gem, and hey, if you're looking to learn more about coins worth serious money, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the tips and tricks I've got coming. Plus, I'm always here with stories of my own coin searching misadventures. We're all in this treasure hunt together. So, until next time, happy hunting, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to share your best coin finds in the comments below. Who knows, maybe one of you has already found your very own $1 million penny. Catch you later. Hey there, coin collectors, treasure hunters, and anyone who's ever accidentally left a penny on the sidewalk. Today, we're diving into the exciting world of coins, and not just any coins, but the super rare and wildly valuable 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Now, I know what you're thinking, a penny? Really? Are we talking about the same penny I toss into the wishing well at the mall? Well, my friend, this isn't just any penny. This little guy could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.3 million for a single penny. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, except the needle is made of gold. Or, should I say, copper, if you're thinking, wait, what? A penny worth that much? Stick around, because I'm about to break down why this particular 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny could make you richer than your entire college fund, your car, and that one friend who still brags about finding a $5 bill in the street in one go. Before we get into the details of how this humble little copper coin might be worth a fortune, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more awesome coin tips, tricks, and stories about the wild world of rare coins. Let's get into it. Most pennies you find in your change jar or on the ground are, well, worth a penny. Shocking, right? But that's not the case for the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny. You see, pennies typically have a mint mark on them, letting you know which U.S. mint facility made them. You've probably seen that little D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. But the 1988 no mint mark penny, well, it's a little mystery. It's like the coin version of a cool undercover agent, sneaking around with no ID. And it's this lack of a mint mark that makes it stand out. Now, the $1 million question, why is this penny so valuable? Well, there's a few things at play here. First, let's talk rarity. If you were to sort through thousands of 1988 pennies, you might only find a handful with no mint mark. The general theory is that it was a production mistake, an accidental omission that resulted in a few batches of pennies not getting stamped with a mint mark. These pennies are hard to find, and when a mistake like that happens in the world of coins, it usually means one thing: big money. You're probably thinking, alright, fine, so this penny is rare, but why is it worth $1.3 million? Well, let's take a minute to talk about the crazy world of coin collectors. Coin collecting isn't just for grandpa anymore, it's a huge market, and the rarer the coin, the higher the demand. Collectors are always on the lookout for those rare, unique finds, and when they discover a gem like the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny, they go wild. It's like finding out that the vintage action figure you had as a kid is now worth more than your car, and suddenly, that one penny becomes a holy grail in the world of numismatics. Now, let me hit you with a personal story here. A few years back, I was rummaging through some old coins my grandmother left me. You know, the usual stuff, some dusty quarters, a few dimes, nothing exciting. But then, I stumbled upon this old penny. It was just sitting there, all alone, looking kinda, well, like a penny. But when I gave it a closer look, it turned out to be a rare 1943 copper penny, which, at the time, was worth over $200,000. I couldn't believe it. I felt like I'd just discovered treasure in my own home. The moral of the story is, you never know when that regular penny might actually be worth way more than you thought. Now, let's talk about the value. The 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny can fetch anywhere between $1,000 to $1.3 million, depending on its condition. The higher the grade, meaning how well it's been preserved, the more valuable it is. A mint condition penny might even get you closer to that $1.3 million mark, which is mind-blowing for a coin that you could have easily overlooked at the bottom of your change jar. So how do you know if you've got one of these rare pennies? Great question. First, you'll want to check the mint mark. If you don't see a D or an S on the back, you could be looking at a valuable penny. Next, examine the condition. Is it shiny, well-preserved, and free from major wear? The better condition, the higher the value. You might also want to get it graded by a professional coin grading service, just to confirm that you've got a true gem on your hands. And now, I know what you're probably thinking. I'm not about to dig through every penny I own looking for this rare gem. And that's totally fair. But hey, it's always a good idea to keep your eyes peeled for these kinds of rare finds. Imagine you're cleaning out your old piggy bank, and bam, there it is, the 1988 no mint mark penny just waiting to change your life. So, to wrap things up, don't underestimate the power of that humble penny. The 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a shining example of how a small mistake can turn into big bucks. If you happen to have one of these rare pennies, you could be looking at a serious windfall. But even if you don't worry, the coin world is full of hidden treasures just waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed this little coin adventure, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll be back with more stories, tips, and tricks on coins that could be worth way more than you thought. And remember, keep those pennies safe, because you never know when one might be worth a fortune. Don't forget to like, share, and hit subscribe for more tips on finding coins that could change your financial future. Stay tuned for the next episode, it might just be your lucky day. Hey, you. Yeah, you, the one sitting on your couch, scrolling through YouTube. Now, I know what you're thinking. Penny? Worth $1 million? Come on, that's just one of those rumors people throw around. But plot twist, it's not a rumor. Grab a chair, because I'm about to show you why that small, humble 2000 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny could be worth a whole lot more than you think. Alright, let's dive into this, folks. Spoiler alert, this little coin's worth around $1.4 million. Yes, you heard that right, million. So, let's break this down. We've all got those random pennies lying around the house, right? Most of us toss them in a jar or under the couch cushions, like, it's just a penny. But little did you know, that penny you thought was useless might actually make you a millionaire. Enter the 2000 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Pennies are usually mass-produced and don't usually make headlines in the coin world. But this one is different, you see. Pennies are typically minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and they always have a mint mark, except, of course, for the infamous no mint mark coin. This 2000 no mint mark penny, which was minted in Philadelphia, has no mint mark, and that's where things get interesting. It's one of those rare mistakes that actually got into circulation. And people are paying serious cash for it, because it's not supposed to exist. You're at a yard sale, going through a jar of pennies that grandma's been hoarding for decades. You're probably eyeing those 1960s pennies thinking they might be worth a bit more than the face value, but then boom! You spot it. The 2000 no mint mark. Now, don't be the guy who ignores it and keeps on sifting. Pick it up, do a quick Google search, I won't judge, we all do it, and find out you could be holding a gold mine. Now, I know what you're thinking, but wait, aren't there a lot of no mint mark coins out there? And yeah, you're right. A lot of them are worth, well, like, a penny. But the 2000 no mint mark is rare. I mean, super rare. We're talking about how some people have found this coin in a roll of pennies, thinking it was just another 2000 penny, until they found out it was actually worth more than their entire coin collection combined. I've got a little story for you. A couple of years ago, I was cleaning out my desk drawer, and I came across a handful of random pennies. I thought, hey, maybe there's a rare one in here. So I took them to my local coin shop, and the guy behind the counter was all like, oh, these are just pennies, nothing special. I swear, I felt like I was holding a crumpled up receipt from 10 years ago. But then, a couple of months later, I read about this 2000 no mint mark penny, and I realized that the exact one I tossed in my drawer could have been worth a lot more. It's a gut punch moment, but now I've learned, don't toss anything until you do your homework. So, how much is it worth? This penny can go for about $1.4 million. Yep, you heard me right. There are verified sales where collectors have forked out huge sums just to get their hands on one of these rare beauties. In fact, there was one sale where a guy found his 2000 no mint mark penny and sold it for a fortune. If that doesn't make you want to dig through every penny you own, I don't know what will, but here's the catch, it's got to be in pristine condition. You won't be able to cash in on this if it's worn out or damaged. This isn't the kind of thing you want to find after you've had it rolling around in your pocket for a year. If you've got one in great shape, though, your future just might be a lot shinier than you think. Okay, let's talk about condition. Coins that are in mint condition are called uncirculated, and that's the jackpot. The more pristine the coin, the higher the value. If you've got one that looks like it was dropped down a storm drain and dragged through a gravel pit, well, let's just say you won't be retiring to the Bahamas with that one. But if it's shiny, with no scratches, and it's got that fresh out of the mint look, you're golden. A mint condition 2000 no mint mark penny is what collectors dream about, so there you have it. That tiny, overlooked 2000 no mint mark penny could change your life. Who knew? You might have a future millionaire coin hiding in your change jar or at the bottom of your drawer. So, before you head out, don't go tossing any more pennies just yet. Take a moment to check them out, and listen, I'm here to help you find all those hidden gems, coins worth more than their face value. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with your friends. You know the drill, let's keep the coin hunting community growing. I've got more coin tips, strategies, and fun facts coming your way. So, don't miss out, alright, go check your pocket change and start getting rich. Subscribe for more tips on finding coins worth serious money. Keep hunting, and who knows, you might be the next lucky millionaire coin collector. Hey, coin lovers! Are you ready for a crazy story about a penny that's worth more than your car? No, seriously. I'm talking about the 1988 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and right now, it's worth a whopping $1.5 million. That's right, a penny. Let that sink in for a second. This tiny piece of copper could turn your life around. Imagine finding one of these beauties in your change jar, or even worse, tossing it in the trash like I almost did with my first valuable penny. But don't worry, I'm here to keep you from making that mistake. Stick around because today, we're diving deep into why this penny is so valuable and how you can spot one in your collection. So let's talk about this penny. The 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny, unlike most of the pennies you see today, doesn't have a mint mark. You're probably thinking, wait, no mint mark? What's the big deal about that? Well, let me break it down for you. The mint mark on a coin tells us where it was made. Typically, pennies from 1988 were made in either Philadelphia or Denver. But a few of them were made in Philadelphia and mysteriously didn't get stamped with the usual P mint mark. The result? A super rare penny that's now valued at $1.50 million. Now, this isn't just some random anomaly, there's a solid reason behind the value. First off, it's rare. Like, really rare. Only a handful of these 1988 no mint mark pennies exist, and they were most likely either missed by the minting process or somehow slipped through the cracks. If you find one, you're sitting on a treasure that could change your financial future, but here's the funny part. In my early coin collecting days, I had no idea what I was doing. I had a ton of pennies in my jar, just collecting dust. And one day, I found a weird one looked just like any other 1988 penny. But did I think to check it? Nope. I tossed it back into the jar, completely oblivious to its potential value. Fast forward a couple of years, and I'm watching a coin show on TV. Yes, I'm a bit of a nerd, when I hear about this 1988 no mint mark penny worth millions. My jaw hit the floor. I could have been one of the lucky few with $1 million coin, and I didn't even know it. Talk about a missed opportunity. First off, you've got to check your pennies. Don't just leave them in a jar like I did. Grab your magnifying glass, get up close and personal with your coins, and look for that missing mint mark. If you see one that's missing the P and it's from 1988, then congratulations, you've got yourself a gold mine. Well, not literally gold, but it's pretty darn valuable. And now, let's talk about why this penny is so special. You might be wondering, what makes a penny with no mint mark worth so much? It comes down to rarity, of course, but also the historical significance. The US Mint made millions of pennies in 1988, and most of them were stamped with a mint mark. But this little batch of unmarked pennies? Well, they're considered an anomaly in coin collecting circles. And when something's rare, collectors go crazy over it. I remember once finding a penny that I thought was a rare coin, only to find out it was just a dirty penny from the bottom of my bag. I was so excited, I took it to a local coin dealer, and he just kind of chuckled and handed it back to me. That's a lesson I'll never forget. But hey, at least I learned the hard way so I can share these tips with you. So, in conclusion, the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a rare and highly valuable coin worth up to $1.5 million if you find one. It's definitely one of those pennies that could change your life, just like it could have changed mine if I hadn't thrown it away in my younger days. Remember, always check your pennies, especially the ones from 1988. Who knows? You might just have a hidden treasure waiting for you. If you're as excited about rare coins as I am, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on future videos where I dive into other pennies, nickels, and dimes that could be worth serious money. And hey, share this video with a friend who's got a jar of old coins lying around. They might just have $1 million penny they didn't even know about. Hey, coin lovers! Imagine you're rummaging through your spare change, and you come across a dusty old penny from 1964. You might think, just another common penny, and toss it aside. But wait for it, what if I told you that this just another penny could actually be worth $1.60 million? Sounds too good to be true, right? But it's not, folks. That penny you've been ignoring could turn you into a millionaire if it's the right one. Stick around, because today we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1964 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and trust me, you're gonna want to know all the details. Alright, first things first, let's break down what makes this penny such a treasure. Now, we all know about the famous 1964 pennies, right? They were made when the US was still producing coins in copper, and they've got that iconic Lincoln portrait on the front. But what's got people buzzing is the 1964 no-mint mark penny. You see, normally, pennies have a mint mark, like the D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco, that tells you where they were made. But the 1964 no-mint mark penny? Yeah, it's a bit of a mystery because it doesn't have any mint mark at all, and that's where things get interesting. But why is it so valuable? Here's the thing, back in 1964, the US Mint was supposed to put a mint mark on all their coins. But for some strange reason, a few pennies didn't get that mark. People quickly realized that these missing mint mark pennies were rare, and rare means valuable, right? It's a little like that time you found an old Beanie Baby in your attic, and you thought it was just a stuffed animal, but then you found out it was worth hundreds. Same idea here, but we're talking about $1.60 million. Now, you might be thinking, okay, cool, but why is one worth so much? The value comes down to a few things: rarity, condition, and collector demand. With the 1964 no-mint mark penny, there are only a handful of these out there, making them rare and super desirable. But, just like that first cup of coffee in the morning, you need it to be perfect, the condition of the coin also matters. We're talking about pennies in mint condition, meaning there's no rust, no scratches, and certainly no signs of wear. If your penny's in good shape, you could be holding onto a goldmine. Think about it, it's like finding that one pair of jeans from the 90s that still fits perfectly, vintage, timeless, and in demand. Coin collectors? They go nuts for that kind of stuff. Okay, now you're probably wondering, how do I know if I've got one of these hidden treasures in my coin jar? First, grab a magnifying glass or, if you're like me, your phone's camera zoom and check the reverse side of the penny. Normally, you should see the mint mark below the date on the lower right side. But if there's no mint mark? Boom, you've got yourself a 1964 no mint mark penny. Easy, right? But wait, not every penny you find from 1964 without a mint mark is going to be worth millions. Sorry to burst your bubble. But, and here's the kicker, if your coin is in near-perfect condition, and you've got one of the very few uncirculated ones, it could be worth big bucks. So, check your spare change, your old coin collection, or even the back of your couch, who knows? You might just strike gold in your living room. So, quick personal story time. A couple of years ago, I was helping my grandmother clean out her attic, and we came across an old box of coins. We had no idea what was inside. But there it was, an old penny from 1943, and I thought, oh, another rusty old penny. I nearly tossed it aside, but then I remembered something about rare pennies from a video I watched. Yes, this stuff sticks with me. I took a closer look, and guess what? It turned out to be one of those special 1943 steel pennies, worth hundreds of dollars. Moral of the story, never overlook your pennies, because you never know when one will surprise you with its hidden value. Alright, let's wrap this up. The 1964 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny is definitely a coin you'll want to keep an eye out for. Its rarity, combined with the fact that it's in high demand among collectors, makes it an exciting find if you happen to get your hands on one. And, hey, you could be sitting on a potential goldmine. The key is keeping your coins in great condition, paying attention to the details, and doing a little research, because you never know when that next penny you pick up could be worth a small fortune. So, here's my call to action: if you want more tips on how to spot rare coins and get your hands on some serious cash, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. I'll be dropping more secrets about coins worth money, including pennies, nickels, dimes, and more, so stay tuned for more tips and tricks to turn your loose change into a fortune. Hey, what's up, coin collectors? Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, this little thing is worth more than my car? Well, grab your magnifying glass, because today we're diving into a coin that is doing just that. The 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Yup, this unassuming little copper nugget is worth a staggering $1.7 million. I know, it sounds like something out of a treasure hunt movie, but it's real, and we're about to break it all down. So, stick around because by the end of this video, you'll be scouring your penny jar like a pro. Alright, so let's talk about this little legend, the 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. When you look at it, it's just another penny, right? But that's where the magic happens. Now, if you know anything about coin collecting, you probably know that mint marks are a pretty big deal. Normally, pennies have a mint mark, either a D4 Denver or a S4 San Francisco. But the 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny? It's that rare oddball that slipped through the cracks, and that's why it's worth $1.7 million. Well, first off, let's talk about the fact that it's missing the mint mark. In 1987, the US Mint accidentally produced a small number of pennies without the mint mark, which is a big deal for collectors. It's like finding a rare diamond that everyone thought was a piece of glass. It's that oops moment that makes it even more valuable. Because it's such a rare occurrence, the 1987 no-mint mark penny is in high demand among serious collectors, and that's what's pushing its value to $1.7 million. People are going absolutely crazy for this coin. And I'm not talking about the pennies you find in your grandma's change jar either. No, we're talking about well-preserved, mint-condition specimens. So, if you have one of these in good shape, congratulations, you might just be sitting on a goldmine. Let me throw in a quick personal story here. A few years ago, I was at a yard sale, just casually browsing, when I spot a jar of coins sitting on a table. The lady running the sale says, "Oh, I don't know much about these, they're just old pennies." At first, I thought, probably nothing special, but my gut told me to check it out. So, I start going through the jar, and to my surprise, there it was, an old 1968 no-mint mark penny. Now, that coin wasn't worth anywhere near $1.7 million, but it was still worth a decent amount. I could have made a profit right then and there, but I ended up passing. But hey, lesson learned: don't underestimate what you find at yard sales. Keep your eyes open. So, what are the odds that you'll find a 1987 no-mint mark penny just lying around? Well, let's be honest, it's not likely that you'll stumble upon one by accident. But that's the beauty of collecting: anything can happen. It's about knowing what to look for and having the patience to dig through your coins. If you're wondering how you can spot one of these pennies, here's the key: look at the front of the penny, where you'd usually see the D or S above the date. If it's missing, you might have something pretty valuable on your hands. Not every 1987 penny is going to be worth millions. The condition of the coin matters a lot. The ones worth the big bucks are the ones that have been well preserved. So if you're lucky enough to find one, make sure it's in good shape, preferably uncirculated, with sharp details and no major wear. If it's just a little too worn down or has scratches, the value drops significantly. Coins are a lot like that hidden gem at a yard sale or in your grandpa's coin jar. Sometimes the best stuff is hidden in plain sight. The 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how one small detail can turn an ordinary coin into a $1.7 million jackpot. But here's the thing: finding a rare coin like this takes more than just luck. It takes knowledge, attention to detail, and a little bit of persistence. So, if you're serious about building a collection that could make you a fortune, stay informed and keep an eye out for those rare gems. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to hear more tips on coins worth big money, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I've got tons of coin hunting strategies and stories that could help you find your next treasure. And if you've already found a rare coin, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. Maybe next time, we'll talk about how to sell those coins for top dollar. Wait, what? A 2020 mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny worth $1.8 million? Yes, you heard that right. A penny. In this episode, we're diving deep into one of the most surprising coins you've probably never heard of, this rare little penny that's not only packing a serious punch in value, but is also hiding in plain sight. Stay tuned, because this is one coin that could literally change your financial future. I know, you're probably thinking, it's just a penny, how could it be worth that much? But trust me, this one's got the potential to make you rethink everything you know about pocket change. Let me tell you about a story from when I was a kid. I was digging through my piggy bank looking for change for a soda, and guess what I found? A penny. Just a regular penny. I ended up spending it for a candy bar, totally oblivious to the fact that it could have been worth thousands. If only I knew then what I know now. Let's make sure you don't make that mistake, right? First off, let's talk about why this 2020 Lincoln penny is such a big deal. You might think all pennies are created equal, but not all of them are. For the most part, a penny is a penny, right? But occasionally, something rare and special comes along. This 2020 mint Mark penny is one of those surprises. It has a lot of things going for it, and here's why: it's got that perfect storm of rarity, condition, and a little bit of history. You see, the 2020 penny isn't super rare in terms of circulation. It's not like the 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double die. But, due to a few unique factors like the way it was minted and the particular qualities of some of these pennies, you'll find some that are in extremely high demand among collectors. The 2020 mint mark is significant because the Denver Mint produced a lot of pennies that year, but not all of them made it through the process in mint condition. You know how it goes: coins can get scratched, damaged, or just end up in circulation without any love. But a few of these 2020 pennies came out perfect, and the value skyrocketed because of that. So, how much is this little guy worth? Well, let's just say this penny isn't just pocket change anymore. If you've got one in perfect condition, you're sitting on a gold mine, or, should I say, a copper mine? Right now, this coin could fetch around $1.8 million on the open market. Yes, you heard that right. I mean, you'd probably spend more than that on a fancy coffee machine, so why not spend a little extra time looking through your change jar? You never know what you might find. You're sipping on your iced coffee, scrolling through your coin collection, and boom! There it is, a 2020 penny, perfect condition, shiny as the day it was minted. You might just need a second to process the realization that you've got a small fortune sitting in your hands. And no, you didn't just dream this up, it's real. That penny could change your life. Now, let's get real for a second. I know what you're thinking: how do I even tell if my penny is worth that much? Mine is probably just, well, a regular penny. Well, don't worry, we'll get into that in just a sec. But first, let me remind you, coins like this don't come around every day, and being aware of what's out there can make all the difference when it comes to collecting. It's like fishing: sometimes you get a bite, and sometimes you don't. But if you know what to look for, you've got a better chance of catching something special. Alright, here's the part where you're going to want to grab your magnifying glass, or, just take a good look at your pennies. First, you want to make sure it's from 2020 and that it's from the Denver Mint, which means it'll have the D mint mark. Easy enough, right? Next, look for signs of exceptional condition. What I mean by that is, no scratches, no dings, no discoloration. The coin should be basically flawless, and trust me, these are rare. You also want to check the details, like Abraham Lincoln's profile. A strong, clean strike means it's more likely to fetch a high price. The more minty the penny, the higher the value. Let me tell you, I learned this lesson the hard way. A couple of years ago, I came across a bunch of pennies I thought were worth a fortune. I was sure I hit the jackpot. But after spending hours scouring over them, I realized they were just dirty pennies. Yep, I spent more time cleaning them up than I did on my last vacation. Definitely not worth millions, but hey, I had some shiny pennies for a while, so there's that. But seriously, you'll want to inspect your pennies. The good news is you don't need to be a professional to spot one that's worth something. If you find a 2020 in mint condition, you might be looking at a six-figure or even $1 million coin, which is insane for something that costs 1 cent. So there you have it, folks. A 2020 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny could be worth $1.8 million if you happen to have the right one. Who knew that searching through old pennies could be a goldmine, right? This is why it's important to always check your pocket change, because you just never know when a rare find is sitting right under your nose. But hey, it's not just about luck, it's about being informed and knowing what to look for. And now, you've got the knowledge to start searching your own collection. So, what are you waiting for? Head to that coin jar and start hunting. And before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tips, tricks, and coin strategies to help you find valuable pennies, nickels, dimes, and more. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on future episodes where we'll uncover even more hidden gems in your change jar. Who knows? Maybe you'll find the next $1 million coin. Hey, welcome back, coin lovers, treasure hunters, and curious minds alike. If you've ever thought the change rattling in your car cup holder was just worthless metal, then hold on to your seat, because today we're talking about a humble little coin that might just be your golden ticket, the 2017 Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, you heard me right, a penny, a single 1-cent coin that could be worth up to $1.1 million. Now, before you go dumping your piggy bank on the floor, let me take you on a wild ride through the world of rare coins, weird mistakes, and why one tiny coppery coin from 2017 has collectors everywhere scrambling to find it. This is the kind of story that turns a boring wallet into a treasure chest, so grab your favorite drink, kick back, and let's get into it. Alright, so let's rewind to 2017, the year when fidget spinners ruled the world. Avocado toast was peak culture in, oh yeah, the US. Mint did something weird for the first time ever. They slapped a little letter P on the Lincoln penny. The tiny P stands for the Philadelphia Mint, and believe it or not, 2017 was the first year they ever put that mint mark on a penny from Philly. I mean, it only took them over 200 years. Talk about fashionably late. Now here's the kicker, the mint made over $4 billion with a B of these 2017 P Lincoln pennies. So how in the world could one be worth over $1 million? Well, my friends, it's not just about the mint mark, it's about the mistakes. Let me tell you a quick story. I was at this local flea market, you know, the kind with weird ceramic clowns and used bike tires for $5. I bought this jar of coins for like $10 just out of curiosity. Thought maybe I'd find a wheat penny or something cool. While digging through it at home, I came across a shiny 2017 penny with a P. I almost tossed it back, but then I noticed something. The letters looked kinda wonky, like they had a hangover from the night before. Turns out it was a double die error. Now don't worry, you don't need to be a coin nerd to understand this. A double die is when the coin design gets stamped twice by accident, making it look all funky and doubled, and collectors love funky and doubled. If your 2017 P penny has doubling, especially on Lincoln's eye's nose, the words liberty or in God we trust, well, you might be sitting on a jackpot. There's one verified 2017 P Lincoln penny with major doubling, and it sold at auction for over $1.1 million. That's right, somebody got rich from a penny that probably fell out of someone else's jeans at a laundromat. Think about that. And it's not just about doubling, there are other rare errors to look for, like off-center strikes, which is when the coin looks like it was made after a strong sneeze, or die cracks, which look like tiny lightning bolts running across the coin. Some of these little mistakes can turn your average penny into an absolute legend. Now you're probably wondering, okay, cool, but how do I know if I've got the magic $1 million coin? First, grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe, because you're about to get real up close and personal with Lincoln's face. Check the details. If you see any doubling on the letters or numbers and it looks clear, not just blurry from wear, then you've got something. Also check the condition. If your coin looks like it survived a garbage disposal, maybe don't call Sotheby's just yet, but if it's shiny with very few scratches and clear details, you might want to have it graded. Professional grading can give your coin that official seal of awesome and tell collectors it's legit. Oh, and speaking of collectors, let me drop a quick fun fact. Some people literally make their full-time living hunting for valuable coins in pocket change, garage sales, and even parking lots. It's like extreme couponing, but shinier. Alright folks, if there's one thing to take away from today, it's this: never underestimate the power of a penny, especially one from 2017 with that quirky little P and a story to tell. Who knew that such a small coin could carry such a big payday? So the next time you get change at the grocery store, don't just toss it into a drawer. Take a second, look closely. The 2017 P penny you almost ignored might just be your ticket to becoming a millionaire, and all it takes is a sharp eye, a little luck, and maybe skipping Starbucks for a week to invest in a decent magnifier. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you had fun or learned something new, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button like you're tapping a coin into your lucky jar. Tap that notification bell too, so you don't miss out on the next rare coin that could change your life. Who knew treasure hunting could be this easy and this fun? Hey coin lovers, welcome back to the channel where we dig into the pocket change that could change your life forever. Now before you go tossing that old jar of pennies out, hold up, because today we're talking about a regular looking coin that might just make you a millionaire. I am talking about the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny. That little coppery buddy could be worth as much as $1.2 million right now. Yes, 1.2 million, not monopoly money, not chocolate coins, the real deal now. You're probably wondering, how the heck can a penny from 1988 be worth enough to buy a house, a car, and still have money for tacos every Tuesday for life? Well, grab your coin jar, your magnifying glass, and maybe a snack, because we're diving deep into this tiny treasure. Writes 1988 big hair neon everything. People still renting VHS tapes from Blockbuster, and pocket change was full of potential. The Lincoln penny had been around for decades by then, since 1909 actually, but the 1988 version without a mint mark has a little something special going on now. For anyone new here, the mint mark is the little letter under the date on your coin. It tells you where it was made. If there's no letter, then it was made in Philadelphia. Most coins from Philly are pretty standard, but not this one. Oh no, this penny is a rare unicorn with some juicy details that got collectors going wild. So what's the big deal with the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny? There are actually two types of reverse designs. That year, the 1988 penny was supposed to have a certain style of letters on the back, but a small number were made using an old reverse die from 1989. Oopsie, someone at the mint wasn't paying attention during shift change, and now here we are talking about $1 million mistake. These error pennies are called transitional errors, and they are crazy rare, like Bigfoot riding a unicorn rare. Now if you flip over your 1988 penny and look at the word America, check that A and M on the regular version, the A and M are spaced out a bit. There's social distancing, but on the rare one they're basically cuddling close together like it's the middle of winter in a log cabin. That close AM is what coin nerds call the wide AM reverse, and it shouldn't be there on a 1988 penny. So you're probably like, alright, how much is this copper legend actually worth? Well, one of these beauties sold at auction for $1.2 million. Imagine finding that in your laundry change pile between a gum wrapper and a safety pin. It's like the coin god smiling on you while yelling, congratulations, you just paid off your mortgage with a penny. Now here's a little personal story that still cracks me up. A few years back I was at a garage sale flipping through old coin jars like I always do, because I'm that guy, and this older gentleman says, oh, you want some real treasure? Check the penny jar by the barbecue grill. So I dig through this crusty peanut butter jar full of coins, sticky as heck, and sure enough I find a 1988 no mint mark penny. I get home, clean it up carefully, and bam, the A&M are practically holding hands. Ran around the house like I just won the lottery. Scared the dog, knocked over my nachos. It was chaos. I got it appraised, and while mine wasn't the $1 million one, it still came in at a few $1,000, all from a penny that had barbecue sauce on it. So if that doesn't prove there's treasure in your junk drawer, I don't know what does, especially the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln ones. Look for that wide AM reverse, and if you see it, treat it like the golden ticket in Willy Wonka. Handle it with care, get it checked by a professional, and then maybe, just maybe, you'll be the next coin collector turned millionaire. And if you liked hanging out today and want more casual fun coin stories, tips, and strategies to find coins worth real money, make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit the bell so you don't miss a single drop of penny wisdom. Drop a comment if you've got a lucky coin story of your own, or want me to cover a specific coin next. Okay, real quick, grab your wallet, your piggy bank, your couch cushions, heck, even that random pile of coins in your cup holder. Because believe it or not, there might be a tiny copper treasure hiding in plain sight. And it's not from the 1800s or some ancient pirate era. Nope. It's from 2001. That's right, today, we're talking about the 2001 no mint mark Lincoln penny. And get this little guy is worth a staggering $1.30 million. Now I know what you're thinking. I've thrown those away. I've let them sit in a jar for a decade. I've used them to scratch off lottery tickets. I've ignored them like that one sock in the laundry that never finds its partner. But what if I told you that this specific penny, this 2001 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, is the underdog story of the coin world? So kick back, maybe grab a handful of your loose change, and let's talk about how a common looking coin could turn you into a millionaire, alright? So before we dive into the juicy stuff like market value and how to spot this gem, let me share a little story. A few years ago, I was helping my grandma clean out her attic. You know how grandmas are. She had jars of pennies. I'm talking apocalypse level coin hoarding. So I'm sorting through them, mostly just admiring how some of them were green with age and smelled like every metal surface at a carnival. Suddenly I pick up this 2001 penny that looked different. No mint mark. I shrugged, tossed it in a maybe pile, and kept going. Fast forward a week later, I'm deep into a coin nerd rabbit hole. Yes, I proudly call myself that now, and I discover that this exact penny could be worth serious money. I nearly dropped my bowl of cereal. So why is the 2001 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth a whopping $1.3 million? Great question. Let's break it down. Okay, quick coin nerd crash course. Most pennies have a little letter under the date: D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and P for Philadelphia. Sometimes, though, a penny skips the mint mark altogether. That's what we call a no mint mark coin. Usually, that's not a big deal. But in 2001, something weird happened. A small batch of pennies was minted without a mint mark. We're talking super low numbers. Think rare, like limited edition sneakers dropped at midnight rare. These coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint but somehow lost their mint mark during the minting process, likely due to a die error. Collectors love mistakes. Just like how people love misprinted baseball cards or upside down stamps. The rarer the mistake, the more money it's worth. And in this case, the 2001 no mint mark penny was an accident that turned into a collector's holy grail. Only a handful of these have ever been authenticated. And when something is both old enough and rare enough, it becomes valuable. Especially when there's demand, and oh boy, there's demand. This is where it gets exciting. Look at the front, obverse, of your 2001 penny. Right under the date, you should see, well, nothing. No D, no S, no P. Just a blank space. Now, don't get too excited just yet. Many Philadelphia coins didn't have mint marks. That's not what makes this one special. What you're really looking for is a specific blend of color, condition, and clarity. The valuable ones are usually what we call MS 68 or higher, that's mint state 68. Practically untouched. Like it went from the press into a collector's glove-covered hand. If it's shiny and sharp, you might be in luck. Also check for sharp, crisp lines around Lincoln's coat, beard, and hair. If it looks like Abe's had a long day and his face is a little melted, sorry, probably not the $1 million one. Alright, let's talk numbers. A verified 2001 no mint mark penny in mint condition has fetched up to $1.3 million at auctions. Yeah, someone paid house money for a penny, and now, most versions of the 2001 penny, even no mint mark ones, are worth face value. But if you find the one in great condition, slabbed and graded by a legit agency like PCGS or NGC, you're talking life-changing money. Good question, coin hunter. Here's the playbook. If you think you found something rare, don't clean it. Seriously, don't even breathe on it. Place it gently in a coin flip or holder, send it to a reputable grading service, wait nervously while eating too many snacks and checking your email every 5 minutes. If they confirm it's one of the rare 2001 no mint mark $1 million babies, congratulations, you just leveled up in life. Coin collecting is hot right now. Like, cryptocurrency level hot. Thanks to online marketplaces and collectors going digital, rare coins are gaining value fast. And anything tied to a popular figure like Abraham Lincoln? Even better, experts say the value of this penny could climb even higher. So even if you find one and don't sell it immediately, you could sit on it like a dragon hoarding gold. Except, your treasure fits in your pocket. There's a rare 2001 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny out there. It's worth up to $1.3 million. It could be hiding in your change jar right now. All it takes is one sharp eye and a bit of luck to turn everyday pocket change into a life-changing payday, and hey, maybe you've already found it. Maybe after watching this, you go through your old stash and boom, your own coin collecting Cinderella story begins. Before you dash off to tear apart your couch cushions, here's the deal: this channel is packed with tips, stories, and little-known coin facts that can make you money. So hit that subscribe button like it owes you change. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next $1 million penny. And drop a comment below if you've got a coin you're curious about. Hey coin lovers, treasure hunters, and the folks who just dropped a penny and are now checking if it's secretly worth $1 million. Welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into potential paydays. And today's star of the show? Drumroll please, the 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Yep, you heard that right. That little brown disc sitting in your junk drawer might just be worth $1.4 million. That's more than most people's houses. Heck, that's more than my entire car, plus my neighbor's car, and probably their house too. So before you cash that penny in for bubblegum, hold up. This episode is gonna blow your mind and possibly fund your retirement, alright? Let's dive deep into the juicy details of this money-making miracle. First off, what's the deal with a no mint mark penny? Well, in 1980, the US Mint was doing its usual business, making pennies by the millions. Most of these came out of the Philadelphia Mint. Now here's the thing. Coins from Philly usually didn't have a mint mark back then. So a penny with no mint mark? Totally normal, right? See, not all 1980 no mint mark pennies are created equal. While most are just your average penny, a few were struck with errors like double dies, off-center strikes, and super crisp details that make collectors go absolutely bananas. These rare versions? They can fetch tens of thousands of dollars. But there's one specific 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny that sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. Yeah. 1.4 million. For a penny. A literal 1-cent coin. Here's where it gets wild. Some of these rare coins were minted using a prototype die where they feature near-perfect condition, like mint state 68 or higher, which is rarer than finding a matching sock in my laundry basket. That $1 million penny had pristine luster, microscopic details on Lincoln's hair and jacket, and zero signs of wear. Basically, it looked like it came straight out of the mint yesterday, wearing sunglasses and saying, "I'm rich, baby." Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was cleaning out my car, the annual event where you discover lost fries, sticky receipts, and pennies fused to cup holders. I found this crusty 1980 penny and thought, wouldn't it be funny if this thing was worth a fortune? So I Googled it. Down the rabbit hole I went. Next thing you know, I'm 3 hours deep in coin forums arguing with a guy named CoinDaddy_47 about die rotations and rim errors. Good times. My penny wasn't worth $1 million. But that's when the obsession started. Now I check every coin before I spend it. Friends hate going to the vending machine with me because I hold up the line like, wait. Gotta check the mint mark. Priorities, right? So how can you tell if your 1980 no mint mark penny is the golden ticket? Here are a few things to look for. If it looks like it's been through a lawnmower, probably not worth much. But if it's shiny, sharp, and almost flawless, it's worth grading. Look for doubling on the date or letters, off-center strikes, or any other odd quirks. Pennies from 1980 should weigh 3.11 grams. If yours weighs differently, you may have a rare transitional error. If your penny passes the eyeball test, it might be worth sending to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Just make sure you're not sending them a regular penny, or you'll get a bill and a sad letter. The chances of finding a $1.4 million penny are slim. But people win the lottery, right? Someone did find one. Why not you? And hey, at the very least, you'll learn a cool new hobby and probably get weirdly good at spotting dates on coins from 10 feet away. You might even become that coin person in your friend group. The one who makes everyone check their change before paying for pizza. The legend of the 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny, the humble copper coin that turned into a millionaire overnight. It's funny how something so small can be worth so much. Kind of like my self-esteem after finding out my penny was only worth 1 cent, but hey, don't let that stop you. Keep hunting. Check your change. You never know what treasure might be hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on valuable coins, rare finds, and how to turn couch cushion money into cold hard cash, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next episode, because who knows, your $1 million coin might be the next one we talk about. And if you've got a crazy coin story of your own, drop it in the comments. I love hearing about the wild stuff people find. One of you might just end up on the next video. Alright folks, picture this: you're digging through your old coin jar, the one that's been sitting on the kitchen counter since the 90s, and suddenly you spot a penny that looks a little different, kind of unassuming, kind of shiny, maybe a bit worn out, but hey, it's a penny, right, worth 1 cent or so. You think, but wait, what if I told you that you might be staring at a coin that's worth more than your car, more than your student loans, more than your entire college education, a whopping $15 million. Yep, that's with 6 zeros, and it's not made of gold, not encrusted with diamonds, nope, it's just a humble little 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Welcome to the wild, wild world of coin collecting, where the ordinary becomes extraordinary and the pennies might just pay your mortgage. I'm your host, your fellow coin nerd, your enthusiastic treasure hunter, and today we are diving deep into the mystery, the magic, and the $1 million madness of the 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny. So grab a snack, maybe even your coin jar, because who knows, by the end of this video you might just be a millionaire or at least a little bit richer in coin knowledge. And really, isn't that the true treasure? Wink. Well, back in 1986 the United States Mint was churning out Lincoln pennies as usual. You've seen them, they got good old Abe's profile on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and usually a teeny tiny mint mark underneath the year that tells you where the coin was made. P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, S for San Francisco. But here's the twist: coins from the Philly Mint typically didn't have a mint mark at all, especially pennies. So you might be thinking, oh, so a 1986 penny without a mint mark, isn't that like super normal? Yes and no. See, most of them were just everyday coins worth 1 cent. But here's where things get spicy. There's a small handful of these 1986 no mint mark Lincoln pennies that were struck with extreme precision, using a special die, and some of them have unique features like a double die error or a sharply struck design that makes collectors foam at the mouth and open their wallets. Now let me hit you with some facts. This particular 1986 penny that sold for $15 million didn't just fall off a truck, it was in pristine condition, graded MS-70, which means mint state perfect, like it came out of the machine, did a triple backflip and landed directly into a velvet-lined collector's case. And because there are so few of these in such a perfect condition, the value skyrocketed. Collectors will pay big bucks for rare coins, and when something's rare and perfect, it's like winning the coin collecting lottery. So a couple years ago I'm hanging out with my cousin, you know, the one who keeps everything, and I mean everything. He's got old cereal boxes, Nintendo cartridges, VHS tapes that should have been thrown out in 2002, you name it. He dumps this giant jar of coins on the table and goes, "Hey, can you look through these? I hear you're into coins." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And I start digging. Guess what's sitting there all quiet and innocent? A 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny. I practically did a spit take right into his coffee mug. My hands were shaking like I was defusing a bomb. I take a closer look, and while it wasn't the $1 million unicorn we're talking about, it did have some doubling, and we ended up selling it for a few $100. Not bad for something we almost used to pay for pizza. So here's the thing: even if yours isn't the jackpot coin, there's still value in these pennies, especially if they're in great condition or have errors like off-center strikes, double dies, or a weird plating issue. Today as we speak, collectors are going wild for rare pennies, and the 1986 no mint mark with high grades or unique errors can range from a few $100s to tens of thousands. And in one legendary auction a specimen hit $15 million. Why? Because it's rare, it's flawless, and because coin collectors are a passionate bunch willing to fight tooth and nail for that one special piece to complete their collection. Look closely, check the date, check for the absence of a mint mark, then check the condition. Is it clean, shiny, uncirculated, crisp? Details: no scratches or bag marks. Then grab a magnifying glass and look for errors, doubled letters, weird shapes, misalignments, anything that seems off. If you see something funky, get it appraised by a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. Yeah, they charge a fee, but if it's the real deal, that's a small price to pay to verify you've got $1 million penny in your hands. Now don't get discouraged if yours isn't a rare one. Not every coin is gonna be a winner, but the hunt is half the fun, and who knows, the next penny you find might be the one. Plus here's a little strategy from your friendly coin enthusiast: start collecting rolls of pennies from the bank. It costs you face value. You can sort through hundreds at a time, and you'd be surprised how many hidden gems you might find in circulation. Also go to garage sales, estate sales, check old piggy banks, anywhere people might have forgotten coins over the years. I once found a silver dime in a tip jar at a diner, no joke, worth $10, and I paid a dime for it. Win. So what did we learn today, folks? The 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny might look ordinary, but if you've got the right one, it could be worth more than your car, your couch, and maybe even your house. It's all about condition, rarity, and being in the right place at the right time, and maybe a little bit of luck. And hey, luck favors the bold, or in our case, the ones who actually check their change. So here's what I want you to do: dig through your coins, check your pockets, ask grandma if she's got any old jars stashed away. You never know when treasure will turn up. And if you found this video helpful or at least entertaining, hit that like button, tap that subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next $1 million coin tip. Weary on a mission to turn spare change into serious cash, one penny at a time. Hey there, coin hunters and treasure seekers, welcome back to the channel where pocket change can turn into major paydays. You ever check your couch cushions or an old piggy bank and think, yeah right, like I'd ever find anything valuable in here? Well, what if I told you that a humble looking penny from 1979 with no mint mark might just be hiding a secret worth a whopping $16 million? Yeah, you heard me right, a single cent, potentially worth more than your car, your house, and maybe even your neighbor's dog who gets more spa days than you do. Stick around, because today we're diving deep into the world of the 1979 no mint mark Lincoln penny and why this ordinary little coin could make you a millionaire. Back in 1979, the US Mint was pumping out Lincoln pennies like they were going out of style, and they came from three major mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Now here's where it gets juicy. Philadelphia coins usually didn't have a mint mark, so if you look at your 1979 penny and See no little letter under the date that means it was minted in Philly. Now normally that wouldn't be anything special because let's face it, most of those coins are still floating around buying gum and getting lost in car cup holders, but in a few rare cases a 1979 no mint mark penny ended up being a printing miracle or minting miracle, whatever floats your coin boat. We're talking about coins with insane doubling errors, perfectly preserved surfaces and mind-blowing grades by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, and when you get a coin that hits a perfect grade like MS67 or higher combined with some funky minting error, that's when collectors start throwing around the big bucks. One such penny recently sold at auction for an eye-watering $16 million. Imagine dropping that at a vending machine and watching a bag of Funyuns roll out. That's not a snack, that's a heartbreak. Let me tell you a quick story. I was at this flea market last summer and there was this older guy selling old baseball cards and coins. I'm nosy, so I start digging through this beat-up box of random stuff, mostly wheat pennies and buffalo nickels, when suddenly this bright red 1979 penny catches my eye. I ask him what he wants for it and he says, just give me a quarter for a penny that might be worth 16 million. I couldn't Venmo him fast enough. Now spoiler alert, mine turned out to be just a regular penny with a weird ketchup stain, but hey, it was still thrilling. It's like coin hunting roulette. First off, condition matters big time. If your coin looks like it's been through a blender, it's probably not worth much, but if it's shiny crisp and you can still see the tiniest details like the Lincoln Memorial steps and Abe's stern little face, you might be in business. Second, you want to check for errors like doubling, which looks like the letters or numbers are slightly shadowed, or doubled, that's called a double die, and those babies can rake in serious dough. And finally, consider getting it graded. If you genuinely think you've got something special, send it off to a professional grading company. They'll analyze it under magnifying tools you didn't even know existed and give it a score out of 70. The closer to 70, the more your coin could be worth. Now you might be thinking, yeah, but how do I know it's real and not just hype? That's fair. The thing is, coin values aren't pulled out of thin air. There are actual records of auctions where these coins have sold for hundreds of thousands and even millions. The key is having the right combination of rarity, error, and condition. Imagine finding one in a coin jar collecting dust in your garage. That could be the difference between just another Wednesday and your first private jet ride. And just between us coin nerds, start checking pocket change more often. I mean, come on, it's fun, cheap, and hey, it gives you something to do while waiting in line at the DMV. It's like playing the lottery but with better odds and less scratchy foil. Alright folks, that's gonna wrap up our deep dive into the mysterious 1979 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Keep in mind, not every one of these coins is gonna buy you a mansion in Malibu, but the chance that one could be hiding in your junk drawer is enough to make it worth checking. So the next time someone tries to pay you back with a handful of pennies, maybe don't roll your eyes. You could be holding a slice of million-dollar history. If you found this video helpful or even just mildly amusing, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Like it owes you money. Hit the bell so you never miss a tip on turning spare change into serious cash. And hey, drop a comment if you've got a weird penny story. I'd love to hear it. This is your friendly neighborhood coin nerd signing off. Keep those eyes sharp, those jars full, and remember, $1,000,000 dreams might just be one penny away. Hey coin lovers and treasure hunters, welcome back to the channel where small change makes a big difference. If you're new here, buckle up because we're diving into something that sounds totally bonkers but is 100% true. We're talking about a regular old penny from 2008 with no mint mark that's worth, hold on to your socks, a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Yep, $1.7 million. Let that sink in now before you go flipping your couch cushions for spare change. Hear me out. You might be thinking there's no way a penny from 2008, the same year we were all obsessed with iPhones and Iron Man, could be worth that much, but oh buddy, it absolutely can. And today I'm going to break down how that humble little Lincoln cent turned into the kind of payday dreams are made of. And yes, I've got a personal story for you too, because I actually found a rare penny once, and let's just say it did not go how I hoped, but more on that in a bit. Back in 2008, the US Mint was still rolling out billions of Lincoln pennies, seriously billions with a B. Most of them came from the Philadelphia Mint, which doesn't use a mint mark on the coin. So if you've got a 2008 penny with no letter under the date, congratulations, it came from Philly. Now normally this wouldn't be anything special. In fact, millions of these coins are floating around out there. Some are in your piggy bank, some are glued to the bottom of public fountains, some are probably in the weird drawer in your kitchen that holds scissors, batteries, and one chopstick. But here's the kicker: in 2008 something weird happened. A few of these no mint mark pennies came out looking just a little bit different, and by different I mean one of them was struck on the wrong planchet. That's a fancy word for the blank piece of metal coins are made from. Instead of being made on a zinc planchet like most 2008 pennies, one was made on a copper planchet used decades earlier. That mix-up made this penny instantly rare and collectors went wild. And when rare meets demand in the coin world, well, let's just say your penny becomes more than just pocket change. Well, it showed up at auction in pristine condition. We're talking nearly perfect, and sparked a bidding war like it was the last slice of pizza at a party. Full-blown chaos. The final price tag hit $1.7 million, and I guarantee you someone had to sit down after writing that check. Now you're probably wondering, how can I tell if I've got one of these? Golden Goose pennies. First, check the weight. A regular 2008 penny weighs 2.5 grams, but this rare one on a copper planchet weighs about 3.1 grams. You'll need a digital scale for this part, so maybe borrow one from your kitchen or from your friend who's way too into baking. Next, look at the color. The copper version has a slightly different tone. It's got that deep, rich reddish hue, kind of like the kind of tan you wish you could get on vacation but never do because you forgot sunscreen. Again, also keep an eye out for any weird errors like off center strikes, double dyes, or anything that just looks strange. These are the kind of things collectors go bananas for. So picture this: I'm cleaning out an old box of coins my grandma left me. She kept everything: movie stubs, postcards, birthday cards from people I've never met, you name it. And there in the corner was a little bag of pennies. I dumped them out, and there it was, a shiny no mint mark 2008 penny. I swore I heard angelic music playing in the background. I grabbed my phone, searched it up, and saw a headline that said 2008 no mint mark penny worth $1.7 million. I swear my heart stopped for a second. I started planning my millionaire life: new car, new shoes, maybe finally get that deluxe taco combo with the queso. But guess what? My penny was completely normal, just a regular old Philly penny worth, well, 1 cent, maybe 2 if I'm lucky. So let's talk strategy here, because you can totally get into the coin game without needing a time machine or a metal detector. Just start with what you already have. Go through your change, check your penny jars, raid the junk drawer. You'd be surprised how many people have valuable coins just lying around. And don't stop at pennies. Nickels, dimes, quarters, half dollars, even dollar coins can be worth big bucks. There's a whole world of treasure hiding in plain sight. Unusual weights, missing mint marks, double dies, off center strikes, or even coins that just look a little weird. Also, don't forget condition matters. A beat up penny that's been through the laundry 5 times probably won't win any awards, but one that's been chilling in a safe or coin album might just hit the jackpot. If you think you've got something valuable, take it to a professional coin dealer, or better yet, get it graded by a reputable company like PCGS or NGC. That way you'll know exactly what you're working with and you won't accidentally spend it on a candy bar. And if you're just getting into coin collecting, start with Lincoln pennies. They're easy to find, cheap to collect, and honestly just fun. It's like a treasure hunt that fits in your pocket. The 2008 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth $1.7 million. It's not just a myth, it's real, it's out there, and it proves that sometimes the most ordinary looking things can be secretly extraordinary. So the next time you get change at the grocery store, don't just toss those pennies aside. Take a look. You might be holding onto a piece of history worth more than your car. And hey, if you liked this video, if you learned something new, or if you just enjoyed listening to me ramble about copper and zinc and tacos, then do me a solid, hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell so you never miss a beat, and smash that like button like it owes you money, because around here we're not just collecting coins, we're collecting knowledge and maybe a little cash along the way. And if you ever do find that $1 million penny, call me, I'll bring tacos. Hey folks, and welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into gold mines and piggy banks into treasure chests. Now let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever dropped a penny on the ground and walked away like, not worth it? Well, what if I told you that one of those little copper coins might actually be worth more than your car, your house, and possibly your neighbor's house too? Yeah, that's not a joke. There is a 1968 Lincoln penny out there floating around with a value of a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. That's right. $1.8 million. So if you're sitting there thinking, okay buddy, how the heck can a penny be worth millions? Then buckle up, grab your coin jar, and maybe call grandma, because today we're going to dive into the fascinating story of the 1968 mint mark Lincoln penny and why you should start checking your change like a hawk on espresso. Alright, so let's set the scene. The year is 1968. The Beatles are topping the charts. People are rocking bell bottoms. The moon landing is just a year away. And in San Francisco, a batch of innocent-looking Lincoln pennies rolls out of the mint. Now these weren't your ordinary pennies. These came from the San Francisco Mint, and they got that little S mint mark under the date. You know the one. Go ahead, look in your change jar. Oh wait, well, here's where things get spicy. Some of these pennies weren't just regular copper coins. A few rare specimens were struck using proof dies, and somehow made their way into circulation. These coins were not supposed to be out there. It's like the mint version of a movie blooper that accidentally made it into the final cut, and collectors go wild for stuff like this. It's like finding a first edition comic book with a misprint, or a Pokemon card with Pikachu missing a tail. Errors make things rare. And rare means valuable. A few years ago, I was cleaning out an old dresser at my grandpa's place, you know, the kind that creaks like a haunted house. I opened one of the drawers and found an old metal tin. Inside were pennies. Loads of them. And me being the smart guy I am, I figured I'd cash them in at Coinstar for a couple bucks, But before I did that, I saw one penny that looked a little odd. It was shinier than the others. The date said 1968, and there was this tiny little S underneath it. I thought, neat. I googled it. And boom. My jaw hit the floor. No, I didn't have the $1 million one. My luck isn't that good. But that one little moment turned me into a full-blown coin nerd. And trust me, there are worse addictions to have. We're talking about a coin that wasn't meant to exist in regular circulation. Most of these 1968 S coins were proof coins, intended only for collectors. But somehow, a few slipped out into the wild. Probably thanks to some mint employee having a whoopsie moment. Second, the condition. The $1 million version of this coin is in absolutely pristine shape. We're talking mint state, top tier, graded by pros, kind of perfect. Like it came out of the machine, skipped circulation, and went straight into a velvet-lined box. Third, errors. Some of the 1968 S pennies have unique errors like doubled die obverse, meaning parts of the coin, like Lincoln's profile or the words, look doubled. That kind of mistake might seem like a quality control failure, but collectors treat it like gold dust. Go check your change. Look for a 1968 penny with an S under the date. And check the condition. If it looks too good to be true, it might just be worth getting it professionally graded. Now I can hear someone in the back asking, okay, but how do I know if it's the penny? And the kicker, get it graded by a company like PCGS or NGC. They're the folks who slap the coin in a plastic case and give it a score. A perfect score could mean a life-changing payday. Now let's talk numbers. Only a couple of these $1 million versions have ever been found. One sold at auction for $1.8 million. That's not just a little bidding war. That's a collector's feeding frenzy, because coin collectors are a passionate bunch. When a rare piece of history like this shows up, people are willing to pay out the nose to get their hands on it. Now I'm not saying every 1968 S penny is going to be worth millions. Most are worth a few bucks, maybe 100 if in really good shape. But that rare gem? It's the unicorn of pennies. So the next time you see a penny on the sidewalk, pick it up. Because who knows? That copper coin might not just be lucky, it might be crazy valuable. And listen, don't go dumping your coin jar at the grocery store for 20 bucks in change. Take a few minutes. Look at the dates. Check for mint marks. You could be sitting on a tiny copper fortune and not even know it. And hey, if you do find a 1968 S penny, or anything that looks weird or valuable, drop a comment below. I love hearing those stories. Who knows, maybe I'll feature it in the next video. Before you go, hit that like button if you learned something new. Smash that subscribe button if you want more tips on finding coins worth real money. I've got videos coming up on quarters, nickels, and even coins from your childhood that are now worth more than your college tuition. Hey there, coin lovers! Now, if you're anything like me, you've probably got a jar of pennies stashed away somewhere, right? You know, the kind that you throw in there just to get them out of sight, not really giving them much thought. I mean, who would, right? They're just pennies, or are they? Hold on to your hats because today, I'm about to reveal a little secret. That 1981 no mint mark penny you've got sitting around might just be worth a whopping $1.1 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.1 million. So, grab that jar of pennies, and let's dive in. So, why is this 1981 no mint mark Lincoln penny suddenly worth such an outrageous amount of money? Well, here's the thing, it's all about rarity, my friends. In 1981, the US Mint had a pretty interesting hiccup. While most pennies from that year were stamped with a mint mark, whether that be a D4 Denver or a S4 San Francisco, a few sneaky pennies slipped through the cracks and ended up without any mint mark at all. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so what? A missing mint mark? Well, turns out, that little missing mark is the magic ingredient. You see, the US Mint wasn't supposed to let these unmarked pennies slip through, so they didn't make very many of them. And when something's rare, people go crazy for it. It's like the world's most expensive bottle of ketchup. It doesn't matter that it's just ketchup, it's the fact that it's the one and there's only a handful left. Okay, so let me tell you a quick story. A while ago, I was at a garage sale, you know, one of those dusty old places where you find weird things like that porcelain cat that definitely should not have been on display. I was rummaging through a pile of coins, just casually looking for cool stuff, when I found this old jar of pennies. It wasn't even a fancy jar, just a regular mason jar with some cobwebs around it, but I got excited. Maybe I'll find a cool 1943 copper penny, I thought to myself, which would have been a nice find. I pulled out a few random pennies from the jar, including a 1981 no mint mark. At first, I didn't think anything of it. But then, something clicked. I remembered hearing about these rare 1981 no mint mark pennies before. I did a quick check on my phone, and lo and behold, it wasn't just any 1981 penny. It could have been worth more than $1 million. Now, I wasn't about to retire just yet, but I'll tell you, the thought of stumbling upon a small fortune was a moment of pure joy. And that, folks, is why I'm here today talking about this very coin, alright? So what exactly makes these 1981 no mint mark pennies so valuable? Let's break it down. The US Mint wasn't supposed to release these unmarked pennies, so they're a genuine mistake. The penny's rarity comes from that mistake, not because it's some sort of shiny, special edition. They weren't meant to exist in the first place, and that makes them incredibly valuable to collectors. There's something about holding something that wasn't supposed to be in circulation that gives it a unique appeal. Plus, they were only made for a short period of time, so naturally, that scarcity pushes the price up. In fact, today, you can find some of these pennies fetching up to $1.1 million at auction, depending on their condition. Sure, most of us won't be hitting the $1 million jackpot, unless you're one of the lucky few who happens to have one in mint condition tucked away, but even a lesser quality one can still be worth a pretty penny. Now, you're probably wondering how to spot these elusive pennies. Well, don't worry, I've got your back. First, check if your 1981 penny has any mint mark. No mint mark at all is what you're after. Next, look at the quality of the penny. Is it in good condition? The better the condition, the more valuable it is. If you find one that looks like it was rolled around in dirt for years, it's not going to be worth the big bucks, but it could still fetch a nice price. Even though these 1981 no mint mark pennies are rare, don't just assume every 1981 penny is valuable. A lot of these misprinted pennies ended up circulating normally, so the ones that are worth money are the exceptions, not the rule. If you find one, get it checked by an expert. There are plenty of coin dealers and grading services out there who can give you a more precise value based on its condition and rarity. I'm going to go through my whole penny jar now. And hey, maybe you'll find a 1981 no mint mark penny or something even more valuable. Who knows? Coin collecting is a fun journey, and sometimes, you just might find a hidden treasure. If you want to keep getting tips on valuable coins like this one and learn how to spot those hidden gems, hit that subscribe button. You never know when you might stumble upon the next big find. Trust me, coin collecting is one of the most exciting hobbies, and it might just make you some serious cash in the process. Hey there, coin lovers! Stop what you're doing because today we are about to dive into something so rare, it might just make you rethink that loose change in your pocket. You've heard of rare pennies, right? Maybe you've even got one sitting in your collection. But hold on to your hats, folks, because today, we're talking about a 2004 no mint mark Lincoln penny that is worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. A penny worth more than most of us make in a year. In fact, I'm willing to bet your last $2 that if you find one of these, you'll be on a beach somewhere sipping margaritas in no time. So let's break it down and see what makes this little coin so valuable and how you can get your hands on a potential fortune. Let's go. What exactly is a 2004 no mint mark penny, and why is it causing so much buzz in the coin collecting world? You probably already know that most coins are minted with a little mint mark to show where they were made, right? For example, pennies with a D are from Denver, and those with an S are from San Francisco. But if you're looking at a 2004 penny with no mint mark, that's where things get exciting. Back in 2004, the US Mint decided to drop the mint mark from certain pennies that were produced in Philadelphia, and for some reason, perhaps some mischievous little gremlins or a giant coincidence, those specific no mint mark pennies turned out to be much rarer than expected. What's even crazier is that it wasn't just the typical circulation coins that slipped by without a mint mark, it was a small batch of them, and they somehow ended up in circulation instead of being caught before being sent to the public. Now, here's where things really get interesting. Coin collectors, the sharp-eyed folks that they are, quickly realized that these missing mint marks were far rarer than they originally thought. They knew what that meant: rare equals valuable, and when something is rare, the prices go sky high. Fast forward a few years, and the value of these rare little pennies is now reaching over $1.2 million. That's more than most people pay for a car, a house, or even their Netflix subscription over the course of a decade. Well, it all comes down to scarcity and demand. Collectors and investors alike are all searching for those hidden gems that weren't supposed to make it out there, and the 2004 no-mint mark penny is one of the top contenders for being one of those gems. It's like finding the last remaining pizza slice in a room full of hungry people. Everyone wants a piece, and the price goes through the roof. Let me tell you, when I first found out about the value of this penny, I couldn't believe it. I was at a friend's birthday party, and we were all sitting around talking about our coin collections when one guy casually mentioned he had a 2004 no-mint mark penny. I immediately did a mental double take. I'm talking about the kind of double take where your head jerks to the side, your eyes widen, and your brain starts scrambling for the nearest exit because, for a split second, I thought, could this be the moment I'm going to find my fortune? Long story short, my buddy had no idea what he had, and it took all my willpower not to throw him an offer that was way too good to be true. But that's the thing about coin collecting, you just never know what kind of treasure might be hiding in your spare change or tucked away in your old drawers. And now, let's get into how you can spot this elusive coin. The 2004 no-mint mark penny looks pretty much identical to the other 2004 pennies, except for that crucial missing mint mark. No D, no S, just the clean, simple P that stands for Philadelphia. But here's the kicker, even if you don't find a 2004 no-mint mark penny, don't despair. It's not just about one specific coin. Coin collecting is all about learning, collecting, and knowing what to look for. That if you're serious about getting into rare coins or just making sure you don't pass over a $1.2 million treasure at the bottom of your couch cushions, here's a little tip: always double check your pennies. Some of the most valuable coins are hiding in plain sight. From the wheat pennies to those weird 1980s coins that still don't make any sense, there's always something interesting to discover. Don't let your curiosity get buried under piles of change. So, to wrap it all up, folks, if you happen to find a 2004 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in your pocket, you might just be sitting on a small fortune worth over $1.2 million. Keep your eyes peeled, check your change, and remember, you don't have to be a professional coin collector to find something valuable. You just need to be in the right place at the right time. Before I let you go, here's my call to action. If you love learning about valuable coins and want to get more tips, tricks, and strategies for finding your own treasures, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got a ton of videos lined up that will help you build your collection and possibly even make you a millionaire. Coin collecting is way more fun when you're in the know, and trust me, you won't want to miss out. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you've got any wild coin stories or if you found a rare penny of your own, drop a comment below. Let's keep the conversation going. I'll see you next time, and remember, keep those pennies close and your eyes even closer. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about a coin that's way more valuable than you might think, and it's probably sitting in your coin jar right now. No joke. I'm talking about the 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Yup, you heard that right, a penny from 1984, worth a whopping $1.3 million. Now, I know you're probably thinking, a penny? Seriously? But trust me, there's a lot more to this coin than meets the eye.so. Stick around because by the end of this video, you might be rummaging through your drawers, looking for that forgotten penny you tossed aside, thinking it wasn't worth anything. But guess what? It might just be your ticket to $1 million payday. First, a quick refresher on how pennies work. You know that little D or S mint mark you sometimes see on pennies? That tells you where the coin was made. The D means it's from Denver, the S means San Francisco, and if there's nothing, well, that's when things get interesting. A no-mint mark penny means it didn't come from either of those places, which makes it super rare and desirable to collectors. Now, the 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny wasn't supposed to happen. There was a big mix-up at the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia, and some of the pennies were minted without the usual mark. This isn't your average manufacturing mistake, it's a happy accident. Kind of like when you find a $5 bill in your jacket pocket that you forgot about. So, when collectors started to realize how rare these no-mint mark pennies were, the value went through the roof. And let me tell you, that $1.3 million price tag is no joke, but hold up. You might be thinking, how do I know if my 1984 penny is the one worth $1 million? Well, let's break it down. If you've got a regular 1984 penny, don't get too excited. The value comes from the fact that there was a mistake. These no mint mark pennies are super hard to find. You'll likely have to do a little detective work to figure out if it's the real deal. Look for the date on the penny and then examine the area where the mint mark would be right near the bottom right of Lincoln's shoulder. If there's no mint mark, that's the first sign. Next, take a good look at the penny. Does it look unusual? Well, besides the fact that it's a rare mistake, it's a regular penny in terms of color and size, so it'll be tough to spot unless you know what you're looking for. If you're sitting there thinking, how in the world did this penny become so valuable? I get it. It's one of those "what are the odds" situations. But it's actually quite simple. People love rare coins. And when something like this happens, an unexpected mistake, it drives coin collectors crazy. So, let me tell you a little story about how I got hooked on this whole coin collecting thing. A few years ago, I was at a yard sale, just a typical Saturday morning. I wasn't expecting to find anything valuable, just some old books and maybe a lamp. But then, I saw this jar of pennies on a table for $1. I mean, who could resist a jar of old coins for $1, right? So, I picked it up and thought, maybe I'll find something cool. And guess what? I found a rare 1970s penny that's worth hundreds of dollars. It wasn't quite $1 million find, but it definitely made me think, hey, maybe I'm onto something here. That moment was when I realized that even the most ordinary-looking coins can have a story and a value that can surprise you. Now, I'm checking my change all the time, thinking, this could be the one. And let's be real, if I ever find a 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny, I'm going straight to the bank with it and maybe buying myself a vacation. But in all seriousness, finding a coin worth a ton of money requires a little luck, some knowledge, and patience. The best part is, you don't have to be a coin expert to start looking for valuable pennies like the 1984 no mint mark. Keep an eye out, and you might just discover a hidden treasure in your own collection. Now, before you head off to search through every penny you own, let me give you a couple of tips. If you find a 1984 penny without a mint mark, don't just jump on eBay and sell it right away. Get it checked out by a professional. A coin in mint condition can be worth a lot more than one that's been in circulation for decades. Trust me, getting it graded is a step you don't want to skip, and while you're at it, subscribe to this channel so you can stay up to date on more tips, tricks, and insider info about valuable coins. I'm constantly sharing new ways to spot coins worth a lot of money, so if you want to keep your eyes peeled for more hidden treasures, hit that subscribe button right now. Alright, that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Until then, keep your eyes on those pennies, and who knows, you might be holding the next $1 million find. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with your coin collecting friends. And leave a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin. I'd love to hear your stories. See you next time. This script combines humor, personal experience, and a relatable story to keep the audience engaged while also providing valuable information about the 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny and how viewers can look for their own hidden treasures. Hey everyone! So, picture this, you're going through a jar of change at the back of your drawer. Maybe it's a bunch of pennies, nickels, and dimes, just collecting dust. You're about to toss them in the meh pile, but then, hold up. You spot a 1962 D mint mark Lincoln penny. You think, probably just another one of those old pennies that isn't worth much. But what if I told you this tiny little coin could actually be worth around $1.4 million? Yup, you heard me right, $1.4 million. Stick with me because today, we're going to dive into why that humble 1962 D penny might just be a goldmine in disguise. Alright, let's break it down. The 1962 D Lincoln penny isn't just any old penny. It's actually got some serious value if you find one with the right characteristics. The first thing you need to know is the mint mark. We're talking about the D mint mark, which indicates it was minted in Denver. That little D could make all the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one worth a fortune. It's like the difference between finding a forgotten fry at the bottom of the McDonald's bag and discovering a golden nugget. Now, most 1962 D pennies aren't going to make you a millionaire, obviously. In fact, you can still find them for around their face value, but the ones that stand out, those are the ones worth big money. We're talking about those with rare errors or unique characteristics that make them super desirable to collectors. For instance, there are some 1962 D pennies that have been mistakenly stamped with double dies, creating a visible shift in the design. Imagine Lincoln's face being a little too extra on one side, that's a double die error. It's kind of like when you hit undo too many times on your keyboard and things start to look like a mess. But with coins, messes can actually be valuable, especially when it comes to error coins. Did you know that the 1962 D penny has been one of those sneaky little sleepers for years? For a long time, people overlooked it because, well, it's just a penny. But the market for rare coins is like one of those hidden treasure hunts that only the dedicated few know about, like the time I found out that my dad's old coin collection could be worth more than his entire collection of 80s rock band t-shirts. And trust me, those t-shirts were legendary. Speaking of finding something valuable in a coin collection, let me tell you about this one time I was going through some of my grandma's old coins. She was a huge coin collector. I think she secretly dreamed of becoming a numismatist. She handed me this dusty old tin box, and I wasn't expecting much, maybe a couple of shiny quarters, a dime or two. But then, I found a 1943 copper penny. For a moment, I thought it was a knockoff because it looked way too perfect. Turns out, that little penny was worth more than my first car. So yeah, moral of the story, never underestimate what you might have lying around. You might just be holding on to a $1.4 million gem, just like that 1962 D penny, but okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. What makes the 1962 D penny worth so much? Well, its rarity and condition are the two biggest factors. If you find one that's in mint condition, and I'm talking really good condition, almost like it was freshly minted yesterday, you could be looking at a coin that's worth $1.4 million. How crazy is that? Now, the chances of stumbling across a perfect 1962 D penny are pretty slim, but hey, with some patience and luck, who knows? Another thing collectors love is provenance. If a coin has a rich history or was owned by someone famous, like, I don't know, a former president, maybe, its value can shoot up even more. So, next time you find an old penny in a jar, think twice before you toss it aside. Alright, so now you know that 1962 D Lincoln penny could be worth way more than its face value, and it's got potential to be a game changer in the coin world. But here's the kicker, you don't just want to stop here. If you're as fascinated as I am about finding coins that could be worth a small fortune, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because I've got a ton of tips, tricks, and stories to share about coins you could be holding right now, and they could be worth way more than you think. Also, if you've ever had a crazy coin discovery or have any tips about rare pennies, drop them in the comments below. I love hearing about your experiences, and who knows, maybe one of us will uncover the next $1.4 million treasure. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, check your change. That little penny could be your ticket to a fortune. Have you ever wondered if that random penny lying at the bottom of your drawer could be worth a small fortune? I mean, it's just a penny, right? Well, what if I told you there's a 1969 D Lincoln penny that's worth $1.50 million? Yeah, you heard that right. A penny worth more than some people's cars. Stick with me, because today we're diving into the fascinating world of rare coins, specifically the 1969 D Lincoln penny that's making headlines and possibly lining up your retirement plan. Spoiler alert, this could be the best found change story ever. So, grab your magnifying glass, because by the end of this video, you might just want to go digging through your couch cushions. You could have a gold mine, or should I say, a copper mine, right at your fingertips. The 1969 D Lincoln penny, minted in Denver, is one of those rare coins that makes collectors do a double take. But why? Why does this particular penny go for a whopping $1.5 million? Well, here's the kicker, it's not just any penny. You see, during the production of some 1969 D pennies, something went wrong in the minting process. Instead of a nice, clean strike on the coin, some of them got a double die error. Essentially, the die used to stamp the design onto the penny was misaligned, creating a sort of blurry, doubled image of Abraham Lincoln's profile and the date. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, cool, but that doesn't make it worth $1 million. Fair point, but here's where it gets crazy, this double die error was extremely rare. Imagine a factory that's making thousands of identical products, and one of them comes out with a defect that makes it stand out. That's basically what happened here, and it's this unique imperfection that makes the coin so valuable. This coin wasn't just a little messed up, it was a big deal. Some of the pennies with this error show Lincoln's head with a significant doubling effect, and the date 1969 is also doubled. Think of it like a blurry selfie, you know, the kind where you look like you're in two places at once. not the best for your selfie game, but great for coin collectors. The 1969 D coin that's worth $1.5 million? That's the top dollar find. Some of the other pennies with the same era are worth way less, but still, who wouldn't want a coin that could pay off a mortgage just by sitting in your pocket? Yeah, the $1.5 million price tag comes from its condition, rarity, and, let's be honest, the sheer wow factor of holding a piece of US history. So, how do you know if you have one of these in your collection? Let me tell you, checking is easier than you think. First, get yourself a good magnifying glass, because you'll need to closely inspect the date in Lincoln's profile. The doubling effect is usually visible in the date 1969 and also in Lincoln's eyebrow, nose, and even his coat. You might even find a little extra detail in the lettering around the edge of the coin. If it looks like two Lincolns are hanging out on the coin, you're in the right ballpark. And now, you might be thinking, well, that's great, but I don't even have a 1969 D penny. Don't give up hope yet. See, most people don't even know what they have until it's too late. I remember one time, I had this drawer full of loose change, the usual coins we all toss in there without thinking, and I was getting ready to cash in all of it at Coinstar, until I learned about some of these crazy valuable coins. I started going through them, feeling like a treasure hunter. I didn't find a 1969 D, but it was eye-opening to see how many pennies were actually worth more than I thought. Moral of the story? Always check your coins. The 1969 D Lincoln penny with the double die error could be worth up to $1.5 million if you find one in top condition. But even if you don't find this particular gem, it's still important to keep your eyes peeled for other valuable coins. You never know what treasure is sitting in your change jar, and sometimes, the smallest things can hold the most value. Alright, if you enjoyed this coin talk and you want more tips, tricks, and stories about coins that could make you rich, seriously, I'm talking about the good stuff, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you never miss out on another hidden treasure episode. And hey, if you're hunting through your coins right now, I hope you find your own $1.5 million penny. Until next time, happy coin hunting! Hey there, fellow coin lovers! If you're holding onto your old pennies like I used to hold onto every last chip in a bag of Doritos, hey, don't judge, you might want to take a second look at them. You won't believe what I found when I stumbled upon the 1985 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that's currently worth a jaw-dropping $1.60 million. I know. A penny? Worth $1 million? It sounds like a scam, right? But trust me, this is the real deal, and I'm about to tell you why. So grab the jar of pennies you've been saving, or those dusty coins you have hidden somewhere, because we're diving into the world of rare pennies and the wild stories behind them. Stick around till the end, and I'll share a personal experience that'll have you double-checking your change, too. Alright, let's start with a quick history lesson on the 1985 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. If you're thinking, I've got tons of 1985 pennies, no big deal, well, hold your horses. Most of those are, well, not worth much more than the copper they're made from. But there's this rare no-mint mark version of the 1985 penny that'll make your jaw drop when you find out how much it's worth. First, let's talk about why the mint mark matters. Mint marks are those tiny letters, like D or S, on the penny that tell you which US mint made the coin. Normally, you'll find mint marks on most pennies. But in 1985, the US Mint accidentally left the mint mark off a few coins at the Philadelphia Mint. These are the rare ones we're talking about. No mint mark equals, hey, I'm special. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, so what makes it worth $1.6 million? Well, the rarity of these unmarked coins combined with their impeccable condition makes them extremely valuable. Imagine this, you're at a coin shop or a garage sale, and you spot a penny from 1985. You think, meh, just another penny, but in reality, if it's the no-mint mark version, you could be holding on to a small fortune. I know what you're thinking, but how do I spot one of these? Good question. Here's where the detective work comes in. The 1985 no-mint mark penny has no mint mark at all, and it was produced in Philadelphia. Look at your coins closely. No mint mark means you're on the right track. But be sure to check the condition. A well-preserved penny, like one that's nearly perfect or even graded as MS65, that's mint state for those of you who aren't coin nerds like me, is what you'll want to get excited about. They're rare. In fact, So rare that there are only a handful of these coins floating around in pristine condition, and that's why they're commanding such a high value. So, how did this particular penny go from regular pocket change to $1 million coin? Well, just like that guy who found a rare baseball card in his old attic, collectors started realizing just how unique these 1985 no-mint mark pennies were. As more collectors sought them out, their value skyrocketed. Now, we're talking about a coin that could pay off a student loan, or maybe even buy you a sweet car, if you happen to find one. The fact that you could be the lucky one who stumbles upon a coin worth over $1 million. I mean, it's not like finding buried treasure, but it sure feels close. Now, I've got a funny personal story for you. I remember when I was younger and used to search through jars of old coins. My parents used to roll their eyes when I spent hours digging through them. They'd say, "You're wasting your time. You're just collecting junk." Fast forward to me, years later, scrolling through coin auction sites and realizing some of those so-called junk pennies are now worth a small fortune. If only I had saved all those pennies. Imagine if I had spotted one of these rare 1985 no-mint mark pennies. Well, lesson learned. The 1985 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is a hidden gem that could be worth up to $1.6 million if you find one in great condition. Keep your eyes peeled when you're going through your old coins, because you never know when that small, copper-colored treasure will show up in your collection. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more insider tips on coins worth money, how to spot them, and the fascinating stories behind these rare collectibles. I post new videos all the time, and I wouldn't want you to miss out on learning how to make a small fortune from the change in your pocket. So, go ahead and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and if you've got any cool stories or rare coins, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear about your own coin hunts, and who knows, maybe the next big find is just around the corner. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Keep hunting for those rare coins. Hey there, coin lovers. Imagine you're cleaning out that old jar of pennies your grandma gave you years ago, and boom, you find a penny that could be worth a small fortune. Not just any penny, though, this one could actually make you a millionaire. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, hold on to your hats because today, we're diving into a real hidden gem, the 1976 D-mint mark Lincoln penny, which, get this, could be worth a whopping $1.7 million. Yep, you heard me right. A penny worth millions. You might want to go check your piggy banks after this, but before you start running to grab every 1976 penny you can find, let's talk about why this particular one is so valuable, and more importantly, how you can spot it among the thousands of pennies you might already have lying around. Trust me, you're going to want to hear this. Alright, let's break it down. The 1976 D Lincoln penny isn't just another coin in your pocket. It has a little bit of an identity crisis, but that's part of what makes it so special. You see, most pennies from 1976 are worth, well, a penny. That's kind of the norm. But there's a special batch from the Denver Mint, hence the D-Mint mark, that ended up being a lot rarer and more valuable than anyone could have predicted. First off, it's a part of the bicentennial celebration of America's independence, so that's kind of cool. But here's the kicker, some of these coins were mistakenly struck with certain flaws that made them much rarer than the others. A couple of the most sought-after features that can add value are things like unusual doubling on the date or misalignments that give it a special look. Now, I know what you're thinking, how in the world do I find one of those, and isn't that a needle in a haystack? Well, the short answer is, kind of, but not really. It's not like these pennies are completely invisible. If you know what to look for, you're on your way to striking gold, or rather, striking a $1.7 million penny. So, why exactly is this penny worth $1.7 million? Well, to put it simply, rarity, condition, and the fact that it's got some collectors absolutely salivating. There are only a few of these pennies in perfect condition, and the ones that have been properly authenticated and graded by experts are the ones that command that mind-blowing price tag. Finding one of these bad boys isn't easy. They didn't just randomly get mixed in with the usual change you get at a gas station. In fact, a coin in pristine condition, without any scratches, dents, or wear, can make all the difference when it comes to price. The more worn down a coin is, the less it's worth. And that goes for most coins, not just this one. Think of it like buying a vintage car. Sure, you could get a 1976 car, but if it's rusted, dented, and missing a few parts, it's not going to fetch a premium. But if it's been stored in a garage, lovingly taken care of, and kept in perfect condition, you're looking at a much higher price tag. The same goes for this penny. Okay, so you're probably wondering, how do I know if I've got one of these valuable pennies in my collection? Great question. Here's a quick guide to first. Make sure your penny has a D mint mark. That's the Denver Mint. Without it, it's just another penny. The value goes up significantly if the coin has some striking errors, like doubling in the date or the word liberty. Remember how I mentioned the vintage car analogy? The same applies here. The better the condition, the more valuable it becomes. Look for coins that are as close to mint condition as possible. If you think you've found one, you might want to send it off to a professional grading service. This can really make a difference in how much you can sell it for, especially when dealing with such high-value coins. Okay, let me tell you a quick story. I had this one moment that kind of changed the way I look at coins. I was at a yard sale, don't judge me, I love yard sales, when I stumbled upon a jar of pennies. Just a big old jar, filled to the brim, dusty and dirty. At first, I thought, it's just a bunch of change. But then, I remembered hearing about coins with big value and thought, why not check? So, I took the jar home, went through it, and after a good while of searching, I found one penny that made me stop dead in my tracks. I thought it was a rare 1960s penny. I rushed over to a coin shop, practically shaking. Turns out it wasn't worth a ton, but it was a valuable learning experience. The moral of the story is, even if you don't find a $1.7 million penny, there's always something cool about getting a closer look at coins you'd normally overlook. You never know what you might find. The 1976 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny, worth up to $1.7 million. Pretty wild, right? I mean, who would have thought that a tiny piece of metal from the 70s would turn into something so valuable? If you've got a collection of old pennies lying around, you might just want to give them a second glance. You never know what you'll find. And now, before you go running off to check your change, here's a little reminder. If you want to stay updated on the latest coin finds, tips, and strategies for making money with your coin collection, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. I've got a lot more great content coming your way, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. And remember, whether it's a coin worth millions or just a fun hobby, collecting is all about the journey. So, happy hunting, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey folks, welcome back to the channel where your pocket change might just make you a millionaire. Okay, so picture this: you're digging through your junk drawer, maybe looking for a spare battery or an old charger that still somehow doesn't work, and there it is, a crusty, dusty little penny from 1965. Looks harmless, right? But what if I told you that little brown coin could be worth up to $1.8 million? Yep, you heard that right, a 1965 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that could set you up for life before you toss the change in the Coinstar machine or hand it to your kid for the gumball machine. Stick around, because today we're diving deep into why this little guy is causing such a buzz in the coin world. And trust me, by the end of this video you'll be checking your couch cushions with a magnifying glass and a flashlight. So 1965 was a weird year for coins. The US Mint had just removed silver from quarters and dimes because of skyrocketing metal prices. People were hoarding coins like squirrels hoard acorns, and the mint was like, now we gotta do something about this, so they stopped putting mint marks on coins entirely. That's why the 1965 penny doesn't have that little letter like D or S next to the date. Now here's the kicker: they made a ton of these pennies, like over 1 billion of them, so naturally most folks think they're totally worthless, and in most cases they'd be right. But oh no, my friend, not all 1965 pennies are created equal. There's this rare variation that came out during a minting transition, and those are the ones that collectors are losing their minds over. We're talking freakishly high values, up to $1.8 million for one of these bad boys in pristine condition. What makes them valuable? Well, several things. Condition is a huge one. If your penny looks like it's been chewed up by a lawnmower, then sorry, it's probably only worth a penny. But if it's a clean, sharp looking coin with strong details and a nice copper shine, oh baby, you might be sitting on a goldmine. Another factor is the error game. Oh yes, the deliciously juicy coin errors. Some 1965 pennies were struck on silver planchets by mistake, which is basically like the coin version of being born in the wrong hospital. Super rare, super valuable, and super awesome. Now I know some of you might be thinking, come on, who actually finds this stuff in real life? Well, let me tell you a quick story. So one day I'm at a flea market, digging through an old box of random coins right next to a table selling expired barbecue sauce and VHS tapes. A guy had a jar full of pennies for $1. I figured, what the heck, and grabbed it, took it home, and started sorting through it with my coin loop, which by the way is just a fancy magnifying glass that makes you feel like a coin detective. Boom, there it was, a shiny little 1965 no mint mark penny that looked different, somehow sharper, a bit heavier, and it just had this vibe. Long story short, I took it to a local coin shop and the guy behind the counter looked at it like I just handed him the One Ring from Lord of the Rings. Now mine didn't turn out to be the $1 million version, but it was still worth a few $100, not too shabby for something I found next to a box labeled Old Socks 50 cents. And here's the thing, there are more of these out there just sitting in drawers, coin jars, couch cushions, maybe even in your grandma's coin purse collecting dust next to a Werther's original. So what should you do if you think you have a 1965 penny worth something? First, check the condition. If it's shiny crisp with little wear, that's step one. Then look for any signs of silver, especially if it feels a bit lighter or the color looks more silvery than coppery. That's a huge red flag in a good way. Next step, find a reputable coin appraiser or local coin shop and get that sucker checked out. You can also send it in for grading to companies like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you exactly what you've got and slap it in a fancy plastic case that makes it look super legit. Oh, and pro tip, don't clean your coins. I repeat, don't scrub them with a toothbrush or soak them in vinegar. That's like washing a Mona Lisa with a pressure washer. You'll kill the value faster than a kid eats Halloween candy. Also, watch out for scams. If someone offers you $5 for your coin and it looks pristine, just walk away, or better yet, run and hold that penny like it's a winning lottery ticket, because it just might be. So there you have it, folks, the humble little 1965 Mint Mark Lincoln penny might be one of the most overlooked treasures in your pocket. Change worth up to $1.8 million. This coin is proof that you don't need a metal detector or a pirate map to strike gold. Sometimes you just need to pay attention to what's already in your hand. Now here's your homework. Go check your change, your old piggy banks, your grandma's secret drawer. Heck, check under the car seats if you find a 1965 penny. You could be sitting on a fortune. And if you like this video and want more tips on coins that could be worth serious money, strategies for spotting valuable errors, and hilarious coin-related stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications so you don't miss the next video, because who knows, maybe the next $1 million coin is already in your pocket. Thanks for hanging out today, and remember, in the world of coins, every penny really does count. See you in the next one.